Hey there, 6th grade class. This is Miss Evans coming to talk to you about evolution. Now, evolution can have several different root words: evolved, evolving. There's lots of things that will evolve over time, and I've got two non-science examples. First one you're going to see is going to be the Coca-Cola product. Over time, you can see the years listed there. Over time, the product labeling for Coke has changed. The same thing with NBC, that TV company. Their logo has changed over time. Now, in science class, when we talk about evolution, we're going to refer more to living things, okay? And I've got two great examples listed here. First one pictured is going to be the horse. Over time, very slow amount of time I might add, over time, the horse has changed, okay? And they have some things that are still the same and similar, but there are going to be some differences, mainly in height, all right? And it's not that the horse just decides to grow, that oh, I want to grow bigger, I want to grow bigger. It's those genes that have the best advantage are being passed on to their offspring, to their kids, and those traits are inherited, and then the horses, over time, start to become taller as an entire species. Okay, same thing with the giraffe. The giraffes that had a longer neck could reach more food. And if they reach more food, they're able to reproduce and have like a healthier, longer lifestyle. And so those traits, once again, got passed on to their offspring. There's some evidence for the theory of evolution. And the three main things that scientists look at to support the theory is the fossil record. Over time, we've dug down into the dirt, dug down into the rock, and we have found skeletons and different fossils. And that kind of helps us see that record over time. The second thing is DNA. DNA is a huge source of evidence. And then the third thing is similar bones. So the human, the turtle, the bat, and the whale, you can see that they all have a humerus. It might be different sizes, but they all have one. They all have a radius and all the phalanges, which are kind of like the fingers. And even if the whale doesn't really have fingers, it has an entire fin, it still has those finger-like bones that are all fused together. Okay? Now, we know that the theory of evolution is once again that change over time, very slow change, very gradual. Now the things that cause that evolution or that change is going to be variations. And if you think back and remember back to that day we talked about peppered moths, and even if you weren't there, you can see pictured in the picture right there, two different moths. They're the same type of moth. It's just there's a variation, there's differences within that species. Just like you might have differences with different dogs, okay? The second idea that explains why things change over time is going to be mutation. Just mistakes happen when copying DNA, and those mistakes can change what the organism looks like. And so if you think back to that simulation we did with the rabbits, the brown fur mutation, the long teeth mutation, the long tail mutation, those are all mutations that gave the bunnies an advantage sometimes, depending on where their environment was. Okay, now the theory of evolution has a third idea of why things change over time, and it's because of competition. All right, so if you look at the picture, and it's kind of trying to be funny, but competition is for resources, and it could be food, water, mates, a place to live. They're competing over the same things. Okay, so let's say that there's 2 apples left on that tree, and there's 2 people that both want those apples. Well, the organism or the person that's going to be able to compete the best is the one that is adapted to getting those resources. So the one girl's saying these apples are the last 2 apples for the whole winter, and the other girl's like, oh, no fair, they're too high. I'm not going to get my piece. I'm not going to get any of them. And so once again, that's competition. Relating it back to the animal world, you might have competition for the bears over fish. They might want the same food. There might be competition over, this is my space where I would like to live. So competition is just competing, wanting the same resources. All right, just a quick check for understanding. Let's pause, make sure you're with me. What is competition in nature? Do you agree with the first, letter A, that competition is a struggle for food, space, or water? Letter B, no, competition means fighting and the biggest one usually wins. C, competition means that one animal takes a mate from another. Or D, mates are the only things that compete. It's a guy thing. Think about that. Which answer are you picking? No, you really do need to pick one. You can't just, hopefully I'll say the answer. If you picked A, you're awesome. You're great. Now, when things are competing, some negative effects that could happen is that could cause species to go extinct. Now, extinction means that nowhere in the entire world, the entire planet, can you find that organism. So, like, nowhere in the entire world can I find a dodo bird. Nowhere in the entire world can I find a living T-Rex. Okay? And there are basically 6 main reasons of why something might go extinct. Could be overhunted, so it could be a human overhunting, or could be another predators overhunting them. Could be a disease. Disease comes in, a virus, a bacteria, and every organism catches that disease, and every organism dies. Okay? Hopefully, they have genetic mutations or things like that, that some species would keep going, but if there is no mutation, there is no variation, gone. Okay, third thing would be a natural disaster, tsunami, hurricane, everything that was living in that space, gone, and not just that space, like the whole world. There's only that organism found there. Fourth, not enough genetic variation, so there's not enough differences to cause some animals to keep surviving, or even plants. I keep saying animals, but this also reflects on plants as well. Okay, maybe they can't compete, and so because they're not getting the food that they need, they're not surviving. Okay, and the last one would be they're not well adapted to their environment. So going back to that bunny rabbit example that we talked about earlier, maybe they're in the Arctic and you have a bunch of rabbits that don't blend in because they're not that white snowy color. Well, if you're going to have wolves or other predators come in, they're going to be able to see those differences pretty well. Right? If you have any questions, make sure that you come talk to me. I hope you guys do awesome on your next assessment about evolution. And of course, once again, these are all the pictures and citations that you guys see. All right? Thanks so much for stopping in and checking out evolution and making sure that you are on the right track with me. Till next time.